Welcome to Motoring Today, the Philippines' premier and longest-running weekly motoring news and features TV and online magazine. I'm Ray Louie Gamboa.
And I'm Susie Gamboa. Here are this week's features to watch out for.
On Motoring Forum, we shall have the private oil company side on the rise of mini gas stations. Our road safety reminder on the Young Street Smart portion centers on who has the right of way when there is no stop line on the main road. This week's Pine to shall be about the no smoking policy in PUVs. The public service segment centers on overloading passengers in public transports. Showcase this week shall have the hatchback from Toyota, the Wigo TRDS. While for race weekend, we'll have the highlights of the first ever Motul Race Wars.
All these plus the latest news in transportation and traffic management, as well as developments in the automotive industry, are in this week's edition of Motoring Today. Join us.
I think my dad is secretly a superhero. He's the coolest, smartest, strongest person alive. No matter where we go, he always makes sure I feel safe. And he isn't afraid of anything. My dad likes to call that the power to lead. I call it his superpower.
The Mitsubishi Strada athlete, confident to the core.
Suzuki Ertiga.
Life is beating fast. Find what you're waiting for.
Seven-seater in style.
Welcome back to Motoring Today. Here now are the latest news and developments in the country's transportation and traffic management. Traffic congestion in Metro Manila seems to be back to pre-pandemic levels. It was inevitable that the number coding scheme would also be making a return.
The MMDA has again ordered the implementation of the Unified Vehicular Volume Reduction Program, or UVVRP, also known as the number coding scheme, but only during afternoon rush hours or from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., Monday to Fridays except holidays. This means that depending on the end number of the vehicle license plates for those already with or conduction stickers, for those still without license plates, vehicles are banned from going out on metro roads during these specified rush hours. The MMDA said the resumption of the modified number coding scheme will only cover private vehicles. Vehicles with plates ending in 1 and 2 are prohibited during the afternoon rush hours on Monday, 3 and 4 on Tuesday, 5 and 6 on Wednesday, 7 and 8 on Thursday, 9 and 0 on Friday. Also exempted from the modified UVVRP are public utility vehicles including tricycles, transport network vehicle services, motorcycles, garbage trucks, fuel trucks, motor vehicles carrying essential and or perishable goods. The MMD also said light trucks will also be banned along EDSA during the rush hours from Monday to Friday, also following the number coding scheme.
Some observers note that if this modified number coding scheme fails to stop congestion from getting worse, the UVVRP may be reimposed fully. Work on the PNR Clark Phase 1 continues to progress with some speed even under the pandemic.
The Balagtas station of the PNR Clark Phase 1 of the North-South Commuter Railway or NSCR project is now 90% complete, while progress on the Bukawi station has breached the 24 mark. This was reported by the DOTR following an inspection led by Secretary Artugade of the two stations of the railway line that will connect Tutuban in Manila to Malolos in Bulacan. Secretary Artugade urged works to continue at pace on the project so that partial operation of the commuter line will commence next year as planned. The 37.9-kilometer PNR Clark Phase 1 segment of the NSCR will have 10 stations. It will stretch from Manila to Malolos, passing through the cities of Caloocan and Valenzuela and the municipalities of Maykawayan, Marilao, Bukawi, Balagtas, and Giginto. It is expected to cut travel time from Malolos to Tutuban and vice versa from 3 hours to just 30 minutes.
Bulacan is starting to become known as a progressive province, and a modern commuter train service will certainly enhance this reputation. Metro Pacific Tollways Corporation is going beyond promoting road safety within tollways to raising awareness about proper, disciplined, and safe use of roads among children.
Metro Pacific Tollways Corporation or MPTC has agreed to partner with UNICEF or the United Nations Children's Fund to promote safety of children on the road. MPTC signed a multi-year agreement with the Child's Rights Agency to help support 100 schools in high-risk areas and make streets around them safe for children. Under the agreement, MPTC will support UNICEF's work over the next 3 years to scale up models for improved road safety and safe journeys for school children in high-risk areas. This also involves raising road safety awareness, strengthening health systems, and encouraging child-responsive urban planning, and incorporating child rights in business practices. The agreement falls under initiatives being undertaken as part of the United Nations' second decade of action for road safety, which aims to reduce road traffic fatalities by 50% by 2030. The project also aims to contribute to strengthening data on child road injuries, rallying advocates, enhancing laws and policies, as well as improving attitudes and practices that promote safety in support of UNICEF's existing child road traffic injury prevention program. According to MPTC President and CEO Rodrigo Franco, their collaboration with UNICEF is an opportunity for the company to scale up and expand the reach and range of its road safety efforts, especially with a new emphasis on children.
Over the years, tollway operators have become true advocates for road safety, and they should be commended for extending this advocacy beyond their borders. The Japan International Cooperation Agency, an active supporter of the Philippine government's efforts to develop a first-class highway system in the country, just turned over a new master plan to the DPWH.
The latest master plan for the development of a high-standard highway or HSH network in the Philippines from the Japan International Cooperation Agency or JICA calls for the construction of 4,400 kilometers of Class 1 highways. JICA has just turned over its HSH Network Development Master Plan Phase 2 to the DPWH. The new master plan expands and updates the 2010 HSH Master Plan that covered the development of highways within a 200-kilometer radius of Metro Manila, Metro Cebu, and Metro Davao. The latest JICA HSH Master Plan calls for the construction of 3,279 kilometers of new highways to be implemented along major transport corridors across the archipelago. In addition, it calls for the construction of 4,600 kilometers of Class 2 highways to provide connection to sub-regional centers, important ports, and airports not covered by HSH Class 1 highways. After receiving the latest JICA HSH Master Plan and feasibility studies, the DPWH said the Philippines is one step closer to building faster, safer, resilient, and environmentally friendly road transport network which supports national goals of rapid, inclusive, and sustained economic growth.
There has been a tremendous rise in the number of highways and bypass roads being built and completed nowadays, and that is great news for all of us. And those are the latest news and developments in transportation and traffic management. Coming up next is Motoring Forum, brought to you by Suzuki Philippines. After looking back on the Department of Energy's side on the rise of mini gas stations, let's hear the sentiments of the private oil sector on the issue.
During the recent 5th Society of Philippine Motoring Journalists or SPMJ Forum, the rise of the mini gas stations in far-flung barangays and lately in more urbanized areas was discussed. In part 1 of this Motoring Forum series on the SPMJ Forum, resource speakers from the Department of Energy or DOE discuss how the department decided to allow the establishment of mini gas stations or technology solution retail outlets or TSROs as a way to stop the practice of backyard retailing fueled by the Coke bottle, the so-called bote-bote. The DOE detailed some of the guidelines for safety and the process for getting authorization to operate TSROs. In Part 2, resource person Rafi Kapinpin, Executive Director of the Philippine Institute of Petroleum, or PIP, discussed the oil industry's concerns about TSROs. The PIP was established as a non-profit organization by oil industry stakeholders in 1996, essentially to act as a voice for its members, with the industry being deregulated. Today, the PIP's members include Chevron, Isla LPG, Petron, PTT, Shell, and Total Energies. Kapinpin shared that the PIP supports the initiative to counter the bote-bote retailing of fuels because this is unsafe and product quality is not assured. The PIP also understands TSROs provide business opportunities and employment to small and medium-sized entrepreneurs. Kapinpin, however, said the PIP believes TSROs should be supervised and monitored more closely to ensure full compliance with DOE's retailing rules and, more importantly, other government regulations to ensure safety and a level playing field. In his presentation at the SPMJ Forum, Kapinpin showed photos lifted mostly from social media that showed many TSROs that were obviously not complying with one or more of the guidelines. The PIP was particularly concerned about TSROs being allowed to store up to 2,000 liters of fuel above ground, which regular gasoline stations aren't allowed to do for safety reasons. Kapinpin's briefing also touched on how two suppliers of fuel vending machines were encouraging people to establish TSROs, advertised mostly on social media, which to the oil industry's eyes wasn't too concerned about safety or faithful compliance with DOE guidelines. Like the suggestion that all one needs to do is fill up columns on a form, or encouraging TSROs to use reconditioned oil drums to store fuel. PIP was also concerned that the two fuel vending machine suppliers seeming to target would-be TSRO operators in crowded urban areas where presumably no bote-bote sellers exist or where regular gasoline stations are prevalent. Aside from the safety aspect, which Kapinpin emphasized by showing social media posts of fires involving TSROs, the PIP was particularly concerned about a level playing field. Kapinpin showed a comparison of requirements for regular stations and for TSROs, which to PIP members gave the latter unfair advantage. The PIP is calling for a level playing field, particularly in the following areas, which Kapinpin said TSROs seem not required to provide or comply with: BAR registration and issuance of receipts, fuel marking certificate, equally stringent compliance to COC requirements, Bureau of Fire Protection Fire Safety Certificate, and compliance with DOE repertorial requirements. In ending PIP's brief for SPMG members, Kapinpin acknowledged that the DOE is in process of addressing some of its concerns, including clarifying TSROs are not exempted from compliance with technical and other documentary requirements from DOE and LGUs, moving to strictly implement provisions of Rule 4, especially those for securing and applying for the mandatory certificate of compliance, and ensuring TSROs are allowed only where bote-bote retailing is present, as certified by LGUs concerned. The PIP is particularly reassured that the DOE is in the process of revising the addendum to Rule 4 to provide utmost safety to the consumers and other stakeholders.
Indeed, there is a place for mini gas stations, especially in far-flung areas not served by regular gas stations. But there may be a need to revisit DOE guidelines for allowing their operation for greater safety as well as ensuring a level playing field for major and minor players. That's our Motoring Forum this week, courtesy of Suzuki Philippines.
I think my dad is secretly a superhero. He's the coolest, smartest, strongest person alive. No matter where we go, he always makes sure I feel safe. And he isn't afraid of anything. My dad likes to call that the power to lead. I call it his superpower.
The Mitsubishi Strada athlete, confident to the core.
sports here on Motoring Today. In line with our lifelong commitment to promote road safety, here is this week's road safety tip in cooperation with Toyota Motor Philippines.
If you're on the main road at kung nasa stopline ka na, bigyang daan ang mga sasakyang galing sa lane na walang stopline. As seen on the animation, the blue car has the right of way. Keep this in mind to avoid meeting accidents on the road.
More motoring tips for you here on Motoring Today. Proper driver's demeanor while behind the wheel from Mitsubishi Motors Philippines.
Payong chopper lang kaibigan, ako po si Hares. Isa po ang kapwa ninyo chopper. Baka di nyo alam, ang paninigarilyo ay matagal nang ipinagbabawal sa mga pampublikong sasakyan.
Respeto na lang po sa ating mga pasahero, lalo na sa mga di naninigarilyo na kasakay mo. Kung ang mga pasahero ay di pwedeng manigarilyo, lalo na sigurong bawal manigarilyo ang nagmamaneho. Ang usok na dulot ng sigarilyo ay perwisyo sa taong nakakalanghap nito. Kapag naninigarilyo ang driver, wala ang atensyon niya sa pagmamaneho. Baka di mo namamalayan, wala na din pala sa direksyon ng pagmamaneho.
Kaya sundin ang batas na ito para makaiwas makaperwisyo. Ito po si Haris Morales, payong chopper lang kaibigan. Mula sa isang kapwa niyo chopper.
Mitsubishi Strada athlete, confident to the core.
Welcome back to Motoring Today. World of Motorsports is next. We start with the latest news and developments.
The second and final leg of the 2021 Formula V1 Challenge saw Milo Rivera and Eduardo Cosateng each winning 2 of the 4 Pro Class races held at the Clark International Speedway. According to provisional results released by Tucson Racing, Milo Rivera topped races 5 and 8 while finishing second in race 6 and third in race 7. Eduardo Cosateng ruled races 6 and 7 while finishing second in both race 5 and 8. Championship points leader heading into the second leg, Daniel Miranda, just finished third in races 5 and 6 and 8 while finishing second in race 7. Joaquin Garrido, the Phoenix Pulse Racing team, dominated the AM class, winning all 4 races in the second leg of the Formula V1 Challenge. Julian Tang finished second in races 5 and 7 while finishing third in race 6. Cesco Dino also earned multiple podium finishes, second in race 6 and third in race 7 and 8. Also getting podium finishes in the final leg of the Formula V1 Challenge were Julian Neri, who finished third in race 5, and Sebastian Soto, who finished second in race 8.
More in the world of motorsports here on Motoring Today, as we now give you Race Weekend. Motul has just hosted the first ever Motul Race Wars, among the biggest drag racing events in the country. Race Weekend takes us to Clark to check out what happened at the inaugural event. We're here in Clark International Speedway in Pampanga for the biggest drag racing competition in the country, Race Wars. Let's go check them out. It may be the biggest motorsports event of 2021. Over 3 days, the Clark International Speedway was crammed with scores of cars, from stock daily drivers to heavily modified weekend racers. from pocket rockets to muscle cars, and all sorts of custom-built dragsters. All lured by the huge cash prizes amounting to a total of 2 million pesos offered by the 2021 Motul Race Wars. I'm here with one of the organizers of the very first Race Wars event here in the Philippines, Mr. Peter Yung. Hi, sir. Quite a turnout today. Can you tell us a little more about how this event started?
This event started, we started to plan it last July of this year. And basically, what we wanted was to make an event, a very big event for Motul for the passenger car segment. Since we just acquired the PCMO or the passenger car motor oil segment from our principal in France and the Asia Pacific, si Infinite Serve International Corporation has been the distributor of many premium brands. The latest acquisition to which is Motul. So parang the management would like to make something na matatandaan kami ng mga tao. Something to remember as sila yung nagpuno ng Clark. Something like that. Now, siguro to make the impression last longer, we've decided to make the cash prizes even more. Kasi merong mga previous events na parang, alam ko merong 1 million event, na 1 million cash prize event. So we wanted to double it up to entice people na eto medyo nagluluwag na yung protocols and everything, na healthy standards. Medyo let's make people happy.
Over 3 days, entries in 8 classes of drag racing went head-to-head, all hoping to rise up the stepladder competition to reach the semifinals and finals, where huge cash prizes are at stake. Aside from drag racing, the first ever Motul Race Wars also featured the B2B Car Show, a sideshow that may have been the highlight of the long weekend for spectators as well as participants looking to distress themselves from the competition. Also on the same weekend, a round of the multi-year Philippine Autocross Championship Series was being held.
Actually, it all started with B2B partnering with us for their road tour, for the B2B Car Show road tour. And then, being a distributor for a performance oil, usually people who usually competes, yung mga nagko-compete, sumasali sa mga events or activities or racing activities, they look for people who can help them with their endeavor. So, the likes of Ryan Ablang, Ace San Agustin of Philippine Autocross, who are champion in their own way, approached us. And then together with them, sabi nila, maybe boss, pwede rin tayong makapag-support with the Philippine Autocross. So, we met Mr. Danny Santiago. And as it turned out, laging jam-packed yung Philippine Autocross with all the legs that we had, which started this year. So, most likely, we're planning to continue on with the partnership, both with B2B and Philippine Autocross.
But it was the drag racing event that drew most to the Clark International Speedway for the Motul Race Wars. Some just happy to get back to real honest-to-goodness racing on a drag strip. Others looking to cash in on substantial cash prizes at stake, while undaunted by the scores of racers, all with the same objective of winning.
Ito ang pinakahihintay ng maraming tao na bumalik sa karerahan, makapaglabas ulit, yan, makapag-hangout. Matagal na rin kami nagpe-prepara, nagbukas ang mga makina, ganyan, tono, napakarami, mga unahin yung sakyan para may kondisyon. Pagdating dito, wala nang problema, pero di pa rin naiiwasan yung problema
Some are first-timers at drag racing, but nonetheless are still hopeful of getting into the money brackets after working on preparing their dragsters.
Actually, first time ko sa drag. Masaya. More on circuit racing kasi ako kami nung team namin. So, ngayon masaya kasi sobrang dami nung sumali sa Motul. Ayun, nag-ayos kami ng engine, tapos naghubad ng loob kasi etong kotse na to, first time lang sa drag So, yun. More on sa engine, tapos tires, ganun. Palit din. Ang gusto manalo sana, diba? So, gagawin lahat.
Others who signed up to race at the first ever Motul Race Wars are there merely to enjoy the competition, some even competing with their daily car.
Well, to be honest, I'm quite happy and at the same time nervous because it's been a while since I'm back on the track and yeah, it's really exciting for me. Daily car ko kasi to, tapos talagang panghatid sa misis, pang work. Actually wala, basta para lang ako napadaan dito sa racetrack. Parang ganun yung dating. Yun lang, nagkabit lang nung RAM, then yun lang. Purpose ko rin naman dito kung ba't ako sumali para mag-enjoy, tsaka para makakilala ng mga bagong kaibigan, ganun.
Motul Philippines was so happy with the turnout for the first ever Motul Race Wars at the Clark International Speedway that plans are afoot to hold at least 2 race wars yearly.
With the turnout that we saw today and yesterday and maybe hopefully tomorrow it will be better or maybe the same as today. We're planning to do this like twice annually. This will be a yearly event. Gagawin namin to siguro next year, 2 na, hatiin na namin. Parang magkakaroon most likely ng pwedeng North Series or Southern Series, something like that. Just to reach out even more.
And that's it for our coverage of the biggest drag racing championship here in the country, Race Wars. Be sure to check us out next week for more race weekend action. To say Motul Race Wars was a successful event would be an understatement. Already, the participants are looking forward to more of the same next year, and Motul promises to hold Race Wars twice next year. And that's this week's World of Motorsports. Motoring Today continues right after this break.
I think my dad is secretly a superhero. He's the coolest, smartest, strongest person alive. No matter where we go, he always makes sure I feel safe. And he isn't afraid of anything. My dad likes to call that the power to lead. I call it his superpower.
Suzuki Ertiga.
Life is beating fast. Find what you're waiting for.
7-seater in style.
Live extra
with the Mitsubishi Xpander Cross.
Welcome back to Motoring Today. The auto industry now takes center stage.
Ford Philippines apparently heard the local clamor for an F-150 powered by a diesel engine loud and clear. And just in time for the holiday season, Ford launched a Yuletide treat for pickup enthusiasts, the all-new Ford F-150 Lariat Diesel 4x4.
We have actually unveiled and launched officially in the market the all-new F-150, the best-selling truck in the US for the past 44 years. So the F-150 Lariat 4x4 diesel is finally here in the Philippine market.
The latest F-150 in Ford's local lineup is powered by a 3-liter 4-valve DOHC Power-Stroke V6 turbo diesel engine with auto start-stop technology that generates 253 horsepower and 596 Nm of torque. The engine is mated to a 10-speed select-shift automatic transmission with progressive range select and selectable drive modes. The F-150 Lariat Diesel 4x4 features LED cargo box lighting, power running boards, LED reflector headlamps with dynamic bending, LED fog lamps and taillights, configurable daytime running lights, and 20-inch 6-spoke wheels wrapped by all-terrain tires. The interior is highlighted by a twin-panel moonroof, 12-inch digital instrument cluster screen, a stowable shifter, leather-trimmed bucket seats with heating and ventilation function, second-row bench seat with folding armrest with cup holder. The infotainment system features 12-inch LCD center stack touchscreen with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, an 8-speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system, and 6 charging ports. The all-new F-150 comes with Ford Co-Pilot 360 2.0, a suite of safety and driver assist technologies. Suggested retail price is 3.398 million pesos.
So I'd like to invite everyone to all of Ford's 50 dealerships nationwide to check out the all-new F-150 Lariat Diesel and of course all the rest of the Ford lineup. You can also visit us at www.ford.com.ph for more information about Ford vehicles.
Honda Motor Company of Japan has given the world a glimpse of future safety technologies it is developing to achieve the goal of zero traffic collision fatalities by the year 2050. During a world premiere from Tokyo, Honda showcased 2 technologies that it is developing to attain zero traffic collision fatalities involving Honda motorcycles and automobiles globally by 2050. One is called Intelligent Driver Assistive Technology that uses artificial intelligence to reduce driving error and risks. The other is called Safe and Sound Network Technology that will connect all road users, both people and mobility products, through telecommunications, making it possible to predict potential risks and help people avoid risk of collision. As part of its efforts to attain zero traffic collision fatalities by 2050, Honda said it will expand the introduction of Honda Sensing 360, the recently announced omnidirectional safety and driver assistive system, to all modes to go on sale in all major markets by 2030. Honda added that it will continue working to expand application of a motorcycle detection function and further enhance function of its ADAS or Advanced Driver Assistance System. It is also expanding application of motorcycle safety technologies and offering of safety education technologies through its Honda Safety EdTech initiative. Nissan Motor Company of Japan will be launching 20 new electric vehicles and e-power equipped models in the next 5 years. Nissan revealed this during the unveiling of what it calls the Nissan Ambition 2030, a long-term vision for empowering mobility and beyond. This vision includes transforming Nissan into becoming a truly sustainable company, driving towards a cleaner, safer, and more inclusive world. In unveiling Nissan Ambition 2030, Nissan said that over the next 10 years, it will deliver exciting electrified vehicles and technological innovations while expanding its operations globally. The vision supports Nissan's goal to be carbon neutral across the life cycle of its products by fiscal year 2050. Nissan said it is investing 2 trillion yen, roughly close to $18 billion over the next 5 years to accelerate the electrification of its vehicle lineup and rate of technology innovation. Nissan added that it intends to increase its electrification sales mix across all major markets by fiscal year 2026, including by more than 75% of sales in Europe, more than 55% in Japan, more than 40% in China, and by 40% in the US. MG Philippines is looking to spread the spirit of Christmas by holding a special online edition of MG Live entitled Salubong, the Christmas Concert. MG Live Salubong the Christmas Concert will feature top local music acts including urban hip-hop star CLR, Rock Quarters, Sponge Cola, and the legendary Aegis Band among other popular bands and artists. The concert will be broadcast online over ktx.ph on December 11 and 12. Music is a cornerstone of MG's brand identity, and since its launch in October 2018, MG Philippines has always championed and celebrated original Filipino music through MG Live. Attorney Albert Arcilia, President and CEO of MG Philippines, said MG continues to bring extraordinary musical experiences to Filipinos and is proud to present MG Live, Salubong the Christmas Concert in celebration of the holiday season. MG hopes to bring cheer and warmth into every home through this online concert event, which is dedicated to Filipino families here and abroad, he added.
Our car of the week is next on Showcase, courtesy of Prudential Guarantee. Toyota claims the Wigo is the best-selling entry-level hatchback in the local market. We take a look at the top-of-the-line Wigo in this edition of Showcase.
Toyota Motor Philippines sold 11,853 Wigos back in 2020, a good-sized number considering the months under almost total lockdown and the economic slowdown. And the newly refreshed Wigo was only launched in the middle of June, among the first digital debuts for Toyota as the government slowly eased restrictions while struggling to contain the COVID-19 contagion. But apparently, the makeover of Toyota's subcompact hatchback excited enough buyers with a meaner demeanor and with more of the fun, smart, high-tech stuff now flowing down the flagship vehicles down to the entry-level models like the Wigo. This seems especially true with the Toyota Wigo 1.0 TRD-S Automatic. The TRD Aero kits added a touch more millimeters to the Wigo, which now occupies a space that is 3,700 millimeters long, 1,600 millimeters wide, and 1,520 millimeters tall, with a minimum ground clearance of 180 millimeters. The front spoiler is especially killer, and along with the side skirt, rear skirt, two-tone rear spoilers turns the Stad practical 5-door hatchback into a sporty, edgy, practical hatchback. The TRD-S decal and badge give the Wigo some kind of street cred. So does the 14-inch machine-cut design alloy wheels. The Wigo TRD-S also comes with projector-type headlamps, line guide-type clearance lamp, front fog lamps, rear combination lamps with LED brake lamps, and high-mount LED stop lamp integrated into the rear spoiler. The Wigo TRD-S as well as the G variant now have keyless entry and push-button start. And for a mini hatch, the Wigo has surprisingly spacious interiors that comes from a longish wheelbase that places the tires nearly at the four corners. There's a lot more power features to enjoy in the Wigo. Of course, there are power windows and door locks. The side mirrors have integrated turn signal lights and now come with power adjust and retract function. Toyota also added a lot of cool things in the Wigo. One is the LCD control panel for the air conditioning. Another is the infotainment system with touchscreen display, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility, AM/FM radio, auxiliary and USB ports, as well as Bluetooth and voice command function. There are controls for the audio system on the 3-spoke steering wheel. There's also a back camera and rear sonar to help with parking. Underneath the hood of the Wigo sold locally is a 998cc 3-cylinder 12-valve engine, a double overhead cam, and VVTi. The engine maxes out at 66 PS at 6,000 RPM and 89 Nm at 4,400 RPM. The Wigo TRD only comes with a 4-speed automatic transmission that sends power and torque to the front wheels. Driving the Wigo is a breeze. It isn't exactly a pocket rocket, but it isn't a slowpoke either. The Wigo has a brake system that uses front ventilated disc and rear drums and comes with ABS. The suspension features McPherson struts in front and torsion beam axle in the rear. For safety, all Wigo variants come standard with dual airbags and 3-point ELR seatbelts. The TRD and G variants have an anti-theft system with immobilizer and alarm.
Toyota has had success marketing the Wigo as a practical and reliable entry-level car hatchback that actually looks cool. A makeover with sporty details and adding a couple of cool functional stuff should help Toyota sell more Wigos. That's our featured vehicle on this week's showcase, courtesy of Prudential Guarantee.
Drive worry-free with Prudential Guarantee's auto insurance program with a free 24-hour nationwide roadside assistance included with your comprehensive auto insurance. Rest assured, we'll take care of you and your car wherever you are. Prudential Guarantee's auto insurance program, 100% worry-free driving.
I think my dad is secretly a superhero. He's the coolest, smartest, strongest person alive. No matter where we go, he always makes sure I feel safe. And he isn't afraid of anything. My dad likes to call that the power to lead. I call it his superpower.
new Isuzu Mu X. Take the lead.
The Mitsubishi Strada athlete, confident to the core.
We now have our segment that dwells on the wide array of motoring problems, not only in the metro but all over the country as well. This is where we present problems referred to us or we ourselves see and hope to fully find solutions for. Our public service segment is next.
Over time, overloading has been a perennial problem in the country's mass transport system, especially on jeepneys, buses, and UVs. When the pandemic hit, authorities mandated to reduce passenger capacity in order to follow health protocols and help stop the spread of COVID-19. This point in time seems to have the loosest restrictions, and situations in the community are close to the old normal. In public transport, authorities are now slowly increasing passenger capacity. Still, not all are following, as evident in operations being conducted by transport agencies. Like everyone else, we are all optimistic that we will soon be out of this pandemic, but we should also know that we all need to help one another in order to do so.
That's our public service segment this week. And should you yourself encounter motoring problems that need immediate attention, please feel free to contact us. See the details being flashed on your screen. And that's the week that was in motoring. Thank you for joining us. Also, please don't forget to check us out on social media.
Until next week here on Motoring Today, now on its 35th year of continuing service to the general motoring public with a lifelong commitment to promote road safety. On behalf of our dad, Butch Gamboa, I'm Ray Louie Gamboa.
And I'm Susie Gamboa.
Happy motoring!